Hello everyone, this is Dushyyk aka Dushyyk and welcome to Dushyyk Writes. I am from the field of communication and specifically from advertising. I have long believed that the reason why some piece of communication fail and some succeed depend on two major things. First, the conviction in the idea or the thought behind the communication. Second, the ability to write or communicate that idea in as simple words as possible. Jane Austen, through Pride and Prejudice, has managed to do both of these things brilliantly. The story revolves around the protagonist, Miss Elizabeth Bennet, who is the second eldest daughter in a family of five daughters. The story is set in 19th century rural Great Britain. The Bennet family of five sisters, mother and father, along with their help, live at the prestigious Longbourn estate, which is entailed to the next male heir from the family. Mr. Bennet, though frugal, is not very rich. His wife also has a meager inheritance. If Mr. Bennet had to pass away, the income would not be sufficient to support these ladies in their existing lifestyle. Owing to the popular notion of those times, it was imperative that at least one of the girls marries rich so she can then take care of rest of the family. The girls each have different personalities, and Elizabeth has herself seen through the example of her parents what happens when you marry not for love but for money or social prestige. This romantic novel then takes us and Elizabeth through the journey of self understanding, of how one must first learn to remove the veil of pride and prejudice which is present within all of us before one can see the truth. This novel was first published in 1813, that is a whole 207 years before I write this review in 2020. Just to add context, a whole different set of people lived and walked on earth at the time when this book was first published. In my definition, a classic is something that transcends generation and which stays alive and relevant long after the creator has perished. Without a doubt, Pride and Prejudice is one such classic, and you will never find that you are reading something which is outdated. To me, this novel is not just a piece of literature but an emotion. This novel is a romantic one in more than one sense. The romance between the principal characters, Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, is the obvious romance. The other one is more subtle, which is between the reader and the subject. This book has everything that I love about as a novice reader. It is set in the romantic era. I find the writing during that time to be very attractive and civil. Simplicity, I think, is one of the reasons why this novel is so popular even during our times. The story revolves around just 12 principal characters. The plot is also very simple to understand and follow. The language is very simple and the story moves in a linear timeline. All the characters are very well written and each has a rich backstory. The description of each of the characters and their temperament is so well defined that you will almost feel how the character is going to react to a certain situation. This part of her writing, Jane Austen had to do very well, as the book follows the free indirect speech style of writing, where the story moves along not so much by the words actually spoken by the characters, but by the thought and inner conversations that the characters have with themselves. Jane Austen has done this remarkably well. When I say this novel is an emotion, here is how I mean it. There is no alarming plot twist in the story. There is no dramatic reveal. There are no words in the writing that will raise your pulse. The story moves very serenely with dignity at a comfortable pace. but you still find yourself holding the novel tightly when there is something happening. You share the tenderness and the awkwardness of the characters. You live and feel the story along with Elizabeth. The Wikipedia page of this novel is worth visiting. It is a treasure trove of information about the various themes, plots, subplots, writing style for this book. If you are a novice reader, you couldn't start with a better book than Pride and Prejudice. Just a side note, I make it a point to read Pride and Prejudice at least 2 times a year. And invariably, I end up reading chapter 34 and 36 at least twice. Not because they convey a very complicated storyline, but just to wonder what happened to the English language? Where has all the elegance gone? It takes me 12 hours to finish reading the book and a week to get the writing out of my system. Please find the complete review of the book on my blog site www.dushyyk.com, and please do not forget to press like and hit the bell icon to get regular updates. Thank you so much for your time.